Call the cops!
More! Stop. Hey, look at me.
Let's
look
see
at
your
me.
talent.
No,
Huh?
hey. No, you need to look at me.
I don't have to do
Okay, take him out.
Welcome back into The Door Report, episode 294 on an actually lovely Tuesday evening, December 10th, 2024. I am Will Byrum, joined as always by my co-host Trevor Hulan, aka Hack Squat Jim Duggan. Here at The Door Report, we are presented by 615 Collectibles. If you're into sports cards or sports memorabilia, check out 615 Collectibles on eBay. Items include NFL team packs, individual cards, and graded cards. You can check them out on eBay at www.ebay.com/str/615collectibles, or you can just search 615 Collectibles in the eBay search bar. Shipping is always fast and free, and it is holiday season. It's Christmas season.
Yeah.
So if you have any sports fans in your household that are fans of specific college teams, NFL teams, NBA teams, MLB teams,
Be a great gift.
check out 615 Collectibles. And remember, that shipping is always fast and free, and the packaging is fantastic. You know why? Because I package it myself.
He does indeed. I can confirm.
There we go. So, Trevor, we have episode 294 to get to. We don't have any football games to recap. This is the first time that hasn't been a bye week in a long time that we have not had a game to recap
Or preview.
It's the first time since August we have not had a game to recap or
Man.
preview.
August feels like another lifetime ago. Like that Virginia Tech game feels like a couple seasons ago.
It really does.
It feels weird.
Much like the first quarter of the Vanderbilt Tennessee football game, this season has felt like multiple seasons.
Yes.
This is kind of what one of my keys was in the Tennessee game. Is this team is 6-6.
Mhm.
It's great. They beat number 1 Alabama. Everybody knows the accomplishments. Vanderbilt fans are flaunting them and thrilled about them. That's why Vanderbilt has sold out their ticket allotment to the Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah.
But I feel at the same time that people have forgotten where this team was realistically viewed before the season, in that I was saying 5 wins would be a Herculean accomplishment.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here at 6-6 going, they didn't end the season that strong. We'll see what happens. It's like, no, this team has made some incredible strides, and I can't wait to celebrate them in Birmingham. So,
Dude.
we've got a lot to do. We're not previewing
No.
the bowl game in this episode. We are actually going to preview that next week.
Yeah. But like going from the Virginia Tech and the Alcorn State game, like that feels like a season. Then you go into Georgia State, Mizzou bye week. That felt like a season. Then you have like Alabama, Kentucky, Ball State, lose a couple, get it at Auburn. And then you end the season 0-3 still. Nothing to shake your head about. It feels like we've played 4 quarters of football.
It does.
It feels weird, yeah.
This season feels like 4 quarters. The difference in feeling between the Virginia Tech game
Yeah.
and then the Georgia State game and then the Auburn game and then post the Tennessee game, those are all completely different feelings.
It's so strange.
It is strange, but we have football to discuss a little bit.
Mhm.
A lot of news and a lot of movement already in the transfer portal, at least plans to be moved, because I don't think any of these guys are officially.
They are. They started.
Okay,
They started
just started today.
Yep.
Okay, because I saw people with their official emails from the NCAA portal, so I didn't know if it officially.
Yeah, they're officially in the portal.
Guys are also starting to receive offers from across the country, so we'll kind of run through. I've been trying to tweet as much as possible from the Door Report account, keeping up with the guys that are leaving, keeping up with guys that are visiting Vanderbilt and or have received offers. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
But it is absolute chaos out there. We're going to discuss the bowl game, the transfer portal. Also, the all SEC teams were announced. We will discuss which Vanderbilt Commodores are on those all SEC teams. And we also have 2 very big basketball games to recap.
Yeah.
2 huge games, both, even though one was a quote-unquote neutral site game,
Mhm.
both road games. and 2 big Vanderbilt performances. So we have all that and much more to hit on episode 294. But before we get into all that, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Door Report. Maybe I should start saying X and Instagram. We're going to keep saying
formerly
Twitter.
known as Twitter.
Whatever it is. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. And while you're at it, give our podcast 5 stars and a review on iTunes. Also, I have been starting to upload the video podcast onto Spotify.
Yes.
So that's a new addition. If you are a Spotify subscriber, you can watch me and Trevor's beautiful, beautiful faces during each episode as well.
Gotten great feedback on it. People seem to like it a lot.
For the Apple podcast, still pure audio.
Yeah.
Apple has not advanced. Damn you, Tim Cook. But Trevor, it's now time for segment 1. Welcome back into episode 294 of The Door Report. Trevor, as Phoebe
There she
flies
comes.
by, we were just discussing in the break in between the intro and segment 1
she's
where
sleeping.
Phoebe was. But there she is. She has the zoomies. So here we are. We discussed it in the intro. Vanderbilt has officially announced and officially been selected as a participant in the 2024 Birmingham Bowl.
Thank God.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Whatever religion you choose to partake, thank that higher power.
Yeah.
If you are an atheist, thank someone. But
The cosmos.
I was praying this game would be the Birmingham Bowl. The date works out perfectly. December 27th, a Friday. The time has been announced as well, 2:30 p.m. An easy drive
Yeah.
for both fan bases. But specifically, we only give a shit about the Vanderbilt fan
Yeah.
base. So
Screw Tech.
an easy drive for Vanderbilt fans, about what, 3 hours? or
3
so?
hours, some change.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
it's an easy drive. Like we were just, it's straight down 65. You don't hop off 65.
So I gave the caveat last episode that we made the proclamation we would be in attendance no matter what.
Yeah.
That was probably too broad. We will, me and Trevor both will be in attendance for the Vanderbilt Georgia Tech game.
Already have our
in
tickets.
Birmingham. Already both have tickets. I will personally, me and my dad and my brother will be driving up Friday morning, going to the game, and then driving straight back after the game.
Yeah.
So that's how easy of a drive it is to Birmingham. I went to a wedding in the Chattanooga area over the weekend on Saturday. It's basically that same drive.
Yeah.
It's so easy, guys. If you are even remotely a Vanderbilt fan, I want to get this rant out early. I know the game is being broadcast on ESPN. So if you're going to watch the game, if you're not located in Tennessee,
Yeah.
George Barclay comes to mind.
Well, George is going to be there.
George is going to
George
be there. He's
is gonna
in
be there.
Boston.
George has his tickets.
Okay, so no excuses. But if you are, it is being broadcast on ESPN. But if you consider yourself a Vanderbilt fan at all,
Yeah.
get tickets to the game.
Yeah, come on.
Come to the game.
guys.
It is a
Jeez.
single day trip.
Yes.
It's the holiday season. I understand people are busy, but also a lot of people are taking off work.
yeah.
No one expects anything to be done in that dead week/weekend in between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
I don't care what company you work for. I worked for an investment bank before this. I did stuff during that time period, but it was like 30% of what I did.
Very minuscule.
Granted,
yeah.
people would try to take advantage of the markets during that time, so it did suck. That's part of the reason I quit my job. But very minute industries participate aggressively in commerce
Yes.
during that week in between Christmas and New Year's. So get your ass to Birmingham.
Dude.
That's all we're saying.
And two, if you're like, ooh, Birmingham, but I went in 2013 and Legion Field sucks. It's not at Legion Field. It's at, I'm not trying to touch you. I just threw a bottle cap on Will's leg really close to his area.
Nice.
And I got it
Phoebe's
off
laying
of him.
on my actual
Yeah.
area.
So she protected me. But not at old dumpy Legion Field. Very nice new stadium where UAB plays football. I've looked at photos like, wow, that's actually a really nice stadium. Very excited. Birmingham also.
Time
Birmingham
out.
has great food.
No. I don't care if this is being played.
I know
at
where
a
you're going.
Dumpy
yes.
high school stadium. This Vanderbilt team, we had real discussions in the modern era
You know
of
what?
college
Go off.
football.
Go off.
In the modern era of college football, real legitimate fans and media members were saying, Can Vanderbilt ever make a bowl game again?
You were having those thoughts.
I was having those thoughts personally.
We had many discussions to where after the 2022 season, me and Will would just sit on the couch and he goes, I don't know if they can do it. He's like, I don't think they'll ever go back to a bowl.
Do you remember the rants I used to go on about Jerry Stackhouse talking about fans and the fans not showing up and me saying, hey, buddy, don't lose to Presbyterian. Win anything, fans will show up.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The Vanderbilt football team in Clark Lee in year 4 have won.
Yeah.
They have done what you guys, including me and Trevor, have wanted. They went out and beat number 1 Alabama this year.
Kept them out of the
For
playoff.
the first time in program history. They blocked Alabama from making the college football playoff. Granted, Vanderbilt wasn't the worst loss on their resume, but at all, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt kept them out. They beat number 1 for the first time in program history. First top 5 AP win in program history. This team, and I do not use this word lightly, deserves your fan support. I don't care what you have to do. I basically said to Trevor, and I texted in a group, this wasn't a request off work.
Yeah.
This was letting them know I was going to be off work.
I'm not going
This
to be
is
there.
not one of those that was, oh, we already have this person off. You're not. I was like, no, I won't be working that day. If that makes me lose my job, it makes me lose my job.
Yeah. Sorry, I will not be in on
I'll
December
find
27th.
another job where I stare at Excel spreadsheets all day.
Yeah.
I promise. But Vanderbilt is going to the Birmingham Bowl to recap 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
Is Birmingham in
Central.
They're in
Birmingham is Central. So easy time?
Easy, no time change at all. It will be broadcast on ESPN, but the Vanderbilt Commodores will be matched up against Georgia Tech.
That'll be a fun matchup.
The Nerd Bowl, as it has been deemed. I was actually at that wedding I mentioned over the weekend, and I had a buddy that said, you know what matchup I want to see? Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech. He goes, that would
be a big rivalry.
He goes, that would be a good one. He goes, Battle of the Nerds. I'd watch that game. He's like, Haynes King versus Diego Pavia. I want to watch that. And that's exactly what we got.
Yeah.
Pure gut instinct. That's what we've got. So,
yeah.
hey, shout out Brett Bolton. He doesn't listen to this. He's a freaking Tennessee fan. So, screw that guy.
But yeah, it used to be a huge rivalry. We used to have a trophy. Battle of the Cowbell. It used to be a big rivalry, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech. That would be a game that outside of the bowl sphere, I would be interested to see Vanderbilt maybe have like an ACC rival, and like every year one of their non-con opponents is Georgia Tech. I would like to see. I think that'd be really fun.
They are two programs that face very similar challenges.
Yeah.
And you've seen Georgia Tech have to face those challenges in a conference that frankly doesn't care about football as much in the ACC. So you haven't seen them face the same level of challenge that Vanderbilt has faced. But it's another elite academic institution that's going to struggle in football.
In a big major
major conference, in a big city that's a private institution. It's hilarious how similar these two teams are. They are the Rutgers. They are the Northwestern. There are teams like this in every conference. Stanford, exactly. But Georgia Tech, I think, is the most comparable to Vanderbilt.
I would agree.
I would say because
colors.
They are also in the South.
Yeah.
Very similar colors. I won't say similar cities because Atlanta is an older city. But geographically
speaking,
that's what I'm saying. Geographically speaking, similar. So Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, that's a hell of a bowl game matchup. And
that's going to be a really fun matchup.
And I also want to say Vanderbilt has already sold out their allotment of tickets.
And Vanderbilt started giving out their allotment of tickets today. They sold out pre-order.
Exactly.
Vanderbilt, and I canceled my pre-order because I got I wanted to jump the gun. I just went ahead and bought it off Ticketmaster.
Okay, I have to add this. If you are buying tickets, not going through Vanderbilt's allotment.
Yes.
Because Vanderbilt's allotment is already sold out.
And you don't get to pick your seat.
Vanderbilt is on the east sideline.
East sideline.
So I have already bought tickets. I did not go through Vanderbilt. My dad actually jumped the gun the day it was announced and bought on the east side. He's a brilliant man.
Smart man.
He already had read into the tweets and knew they were going to be on the east side. He actually was panicked he bought on the wrong side for a second. But he bought on the right side. I'm going to be sitting in the luxury chairback seat. So everybody else can suck it, brother. But, Vanderbilt's on the east side. So that's what I had to interrupt. If you're buying tickets, you can't get them through Vanderbilt. buy them through StubHub, Ticketmaster, whatever it is.
Yes.
The Birmingham Bowl website. Vanderbilt is on the east side.
And so in terms of sections, I don't know the upper bowl, but I know the lower bowl. That would be section 120 all the way to, I believe, section 126. But yeah, east side's where Vanderbilt's. You want to say where we're sitting?
I don't actually know.
I know where you're. I know where you're.
You know
sitting.
my ticket number,
dude.
Yeah,
Will and
don't
I will
care.
be sitting in section 125.
There we go.
Will, you will be in row P. I will be in row BB. So I'm about 10 rows behind you.
And got it like Steve got it.
Yeah. So section 125, we are declaring section F South. That is, we're going to call it section F South. If I see one person in section 125 sitting down on a third down, I might be arrested. That's where the big money, they're like, ooh, we can't give these away. These are donors. Donors, you're about to learn TDR, buddy.
You're about to learn TDR, buddy. But we will be down in Birmingham. Everyone should be down in Birmingham.
Yeah.
That's the general.
I don't know of anybody who's not going to be there.
So the other part of this, with Vanderbilt selling out their allotment, obviously, I don't know if this is maintained the exact same. They're playing at a different stadium, like you mentioned. But in had they changed stadiums? All right, what I'm about to say, you'll be able to know. But in 2017, I searched through Google and tried to find out what the number of tickets were in that allotment. What I found was an article from the 2017 Birmingham Bowl. USF played in that game, and I actually had the opponent pulled up, but I cannot remember what it was. Yes, USF beat Texas Tech 38-34 in 2017 on December 23rd. USF in that bowl game was allotted 10,000 tickets. And the article was actually about how they only sold like 1,100. But the reason I bring it up is it is probably likely Vanderbilt was allotted around 10,000 tickets. So that means Vanderbilt has sold on pre-order minimum, I would say, 6,000 to 8,000 tickets at minimum. And that's not even including a majority of people that we know, including both of us, that didn't buy through Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt fans, it's going to be a hell of a time. Vanderbilt fans, continue to pre-order and purchase tickets. These guys deserve your support. And damn, wouldn't it be fun to go and take over a bowl game? All the shit this fan base gets. Wouldn't it be incredible to go in and take over 80% of that stadium? Everybody out there, keep buying tickets. I've seen some Georgia Tech fans on their self-righteous stuff about, we took Georgia to overtime. We deserve a better bowl game than Birmingham. Or they're even Vanderbilt fans on Twitter.
They're really upset about the Birmingham
They
Bowl
are very upset, and they're like, we played Georgia down to the wire. And I just want to say, well, Vanderbilt beat Alabama, who beat Georgia. So, and they lost to Texas by 3. They were up 14-0 in the first quarter against Tennessee. So what's your fucking point?
What are we arguing
I
here?
really, truly think that Georgia Tech fans are that delusional. I do think Georgia Tech is better than Vanderbilt overall when we do our evaluations, whatever. It's very confusing because a lot of these transfer guys are not going to be playing in the bowl game. So we don't exactly know.
Vanderbilt side,
some will, we don't know. Right now, we don't know who's going to be playing, but is Georgia Tech right now better in the national view of where they rank? Probably. And that's where it shows in the line. Is Vanderbilt opened up as a 2.5-point underdog against Georgia Tech? So is Georgia Tech slightly better? Maybe. But the Georgia Tech fans thinking they deserve better because they went 7-5 in the shitty ACC and played Georgia down to the wire in overtime and blew the game because of a Haynes King fumble. Like, Vanderbilt has 3 games that year against top 10 opponents like that. What are you talking about? Like, you do realize that Vanderbilt played 4 top 10 teams this season.
I'm pretty positive Vanderbilt has like a top 10 strength of schedule.
And bowl games are celebratory. It's not about the outcome of this, whatever. But Georgia Tech fans need to get off their high horse. You belong in the Birmingham Bowl. You went 7-5 in the ACC. I'm sorry. Like, you guys are better than you have been the last few years, similar to Vanderbilt. You play in the ACC. You didn't have to beat number 1 in the country to get to 6 wins or 7 wins.
I mean, their best win is probably
who is their best win?
Against Miami, week 1 or week 0 in Ireland.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be.
Yeah, I think it is a week 0 win
Against a bad, not Miami, Florida State. I'm so
Florida
sorry.
State.
Against a
I was about to say I didn't
historically
realize they beat,
bad Florida State team.
And the funnier part is they're going on these rants, and they lost to Virginia Tech 21-6,
and we
beat the brakes off Virginia Tech. We're post the end of the season, so we can be honest. Vanderbilt came out and beat Virginia Tech, handily, and Georgia Tech came out and lost. Georgia Tech did beat Miami. That's their best win.
They did beat Miami.
They beat number 4 Miami. Like, that's a good win.
That's a good win.
Vanderbilt also beat number 1 Alabama. So, like, that's all I'm getting at is Georgia Tech can say what they want about they deserve better, but you look at the resumes. Vanderbilt's resume is just as good as Georgia Tech's, if not better.
I agree.
So that's all I'm getting at on that. We'll be previewing the bowl game next week. I will put out an open invite to Big T of Barstool Sports. I might actually text him. He grew up a Georgia Tech fan. When we knew each other, he was a Georgia Tech fan. Well, we still know each other now that he's a Tennessee fan. But if he wants to come on and preview the Georgia Tech Vanderbilt bowl game, we'd love to have him join.
You'd love to have him. I hate that guy.
You guys would like each other.
He's got me blocked on Twitter because he's scared.
Big T is the right-leaning version of Hack Squat Jim.
Oh, believe me, I'm a fellow macro dosing listener, so we could discuss politics. Big T is the antithesis of me. Everything that I am, Big T is against.
I would love to have, because we've had him on before. I would love to have him on again as an in-person, because the beef, and I mean physical in-person human body male beef between you two. Big T. I've known him. He's about 6'5", 6'6", about 280, 300.
He would tower over me.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Trevor, about 6'1", 6'2", about 260.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
That's some beef right there.
That's
That's some SEC O-line, D-line type shit.
Put him at tackle. Put me on the edge. Let's see who wins best.
Oklahoma drills.
I'll kill you, Big T.
TDR, EP 295. Trevor Hulan, Big T, Oklahoma drill in our living room.
I'll put the helmet on.
I'll blow the whistle and wear the referee uniform.
I'm going to take you down the stairs, Big T.
But that's enough for the bowl game on episode 294. We'll have a full preview next week.
I can't believe we're going bowling.
And then TDR is going. I'll go ahead and say it on here. We will be taking a break.
Yeah.
The week in between next episode. So we will have an episode next week. We'll be recording normal time, everything. But next week, before Christmas, we will not be recording. We will be back after to recap the Vanderbilt Georgia Tech bowl game, the Birmingham Bowl. We will be back with another episode in 2024.
Yeah.
We'll be back with 2 more episodes in 2020. Well,
after tonight, 2 more.
Yeah, because we'll still record next
week. Take the week of Christmas off.
And
record before New Year's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just had to put that out early. That was clunky, but I had to put that out early so everybody knew that this is a planned thing.
Yes.
Not us being lazy.
Guys, let us have our Christmas.
Let us have a little Christmas.
Let us
and
take
enjoy
off
it.
for Christmas.
Some
God
people
forbid.
Some people will be a little not happy because they will have drives to visit family during Christmas, and they'll be like, damn, I want a TDR episode to listen to. But really, during that week, we were either going to take off next week or Christmas week. There's no games to react to. There's no anything to react to.
Yeah, not even basketball.
Yeah, so we will be back after Christmas. Still some football to hit on. All SEC honors have been given. Vanderbilt has 4 players on the first, second, and third teams. Eli Stowers, first team All SEC at tight end, even with how the season ended.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Teams were just keying on him.
Yeah. When was the last time Vanderbilt had a first team All SEC guy?
That's a great question.
It's got to be Jordan Matthews, or maybe Zach Cunningham.
Maybe Cunningham. I don't know. We'd have to look that up.
Maybe Keyshawn. I don't know. But if it's been a long time.
I don't think it was Keyshawn. I feel like we'd remember if Keyshawn was first team All
I think it was J-Matt. I don't even think Zach Cunningham.
I was really just trying to think of special teams if Hayball or anybody. Was Hayball first team?
I mean, Jesse Mirko wasn't first team this year, and he's been better than Hayball.
But, yeah, maybe. We'll have to get some feedback.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, when was the last time Vanderbilt had a first-team All-SEC player? We'll have the caveat non-special teams.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if that's true, but having an offensive or defensive player is different.
You know what? Here, I'm going to say it. I don't have it up in front of me. I know I said Jordan Matthews. I'm going to say that Zach Cunningham at one point was first team All SEC. 2014.
No, it was later than that.
No, but that was he started in 2014 to 2017. That was his career. So 2016. 2016 he might have been first team All SEC. He might have been in 2015 as well. He definitely wasn't in 2014.
Since Jordan Matthews.
It's been since J-Mac.
No, so I have to give him credit. So it has been the first time a Vanderbilt player has had first team All SEC honors since wide receiver Jordan Matthews and offensive lineman Wesley Johnson in 2013.
Wow.
So Vanderbilt had two players in 2013, and it is the first time since 2016 Vanderbilt has had an offensive player win All SEC. No, I'm not going to read that. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm reading the Vanderbilt press release. There's some weird stats.
Vanderbilt,
that are
fix your
very
writing.
specific. Okay, never mind. But yeah, first time since 2013. Vanderbilt has had a
Zach
first
Cunningham didn't even make first team?
Guess not.
Wow, that's surprising.
With the linebacking crews that SEC teams have, not as right.
Valid.
He was definitely an All SEC team player,
Yeah.
but first team is a whole different
Yeah.
level. That just shows how incredible Stowers was.
Yeah.
Through this year, Vanderbilt also had three more players given All SEC honors: Jesse Mirko and Martell Heights, second team All SEC.
Yep.
I didn't actually read into this, but I'm assuming Martell Height was punt returner.
He was.
Okay.
Yes.
Because he was definitely not all second team SEC corner.
Yeah,
no
no,
offense,
he was
Martell.
punt returner.
You were a very solid sophomore. You got much better from your freshman
Yeah.
to sophomore year. All SEC second team punt returner. Mirko, second team punter, should be playing in the NFL next year.
Yeah.
We will see. Third team, our boy, Brocket Launcher.
The Brocket
baby.
Launcher.
I also want to point out how damn good you have to be. And I'm saying this, Brock, if you're listening, family, I'm sorry. I don't mean this. How good do you have to be to still make third team All SEC honors as a kicker when you lost your team a game? Granted, there was a lot more going on in the Missouri game, but he shanked a 31-yard field goal to lose Vanderbilt the game against Missouri.
I think it's probably just strictly.
No.
like-
I know it's strictly, but
Yeah.
I'm saying I know they're not evaluating it like that. But Vanderbilt fans, is what I'm saying, still have an incredibly positive view of Brock Taylor, even though he lost them a game in double overtime because he's that good. Granted, he had one bad kick, but Vanderbilt fans believe in him that much, and the SEC in general obviously thinks he's an incredible kicker, and we know that as well. But Brocket Launcher's the man.
I mean, he's the best Vanderbilt kicker since Spear. I mean, Riley Gay at one point had like a run.
No.
But he's not even close to as good as Brock.
No, it's been
was.
since Spear.
Vincent Spear, yeah.
And I think purely,
it's been over a decade.
I really do mean this, and we'll see. He still has 2 more years of eligibility left. So I think Brock Taylor is the best kicker Vandy's ever had, untouched. And I won't say that about Hayball or Mirko because of Jim Arnold, former guest of the pod.
Yeah, Jim Arnold.
But
long time NFL.
Long time. So, but I think Brock Taylor is the most talented, untouched, and I love Kerry Spear, but more talented than Kerry Spear. His leg is a guy that could be a kicker in the NFL for 20 years.
What was the guy's name that won the MVP in the 2008 Music City Bowl? He was the kicker. Fowler?
Ryan Fowler?
Ryan Fowler.
Yep.
What a memory bank pull for me.
Yep. That's a good one, but I still stand by my statement. Brock,
I don't remember Ryan Fowler enough to
Brock
disagree
is one of those.
with you.
I watch a lot of NFL football. Brock Taylor is one of those guys. I watch a ton of NFL teams bring out guys that struggle to get it there from 55.
Yeah.
Brock Taylor has a 60 to 65 plus yard leg, legit.
Yes.
If Brock's not listening, but if Brock Taylor can get incredible or more accurate from inside of 40, he will be an NFL kicker for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Because those legs do not grow on trees.
No.
He has a 0.001% leg for kickers. I mean that not from the gin pop. I mean a 0.1%, 0.01% leg for kickers that are kicking in college.
You want a fun stat?
Yeah.
He has a higher, and I know it's NFL and college. I know he has a higher accuracy percentage than Justin Tucker this year.
Well, a lot of kickers have
Yeah.
that. Justin Tucker.
He's fallen off a
Justin
cliff.
Tucker messed with the devil and
But-
Patrick Mahomes
but-
and got bit.
But if last year I told you, hey, dude, would you rather have Brock Taylor or Justin Tucker on this year's team? You just said Justin Tucker.
Yeah, obviously.
But now we're like, I'd rather have Brock Taylor over Justin Tucker.
So, rocket launcher.
Jake Elliott having a bad year for the Eagles. Hopefully my Eagles draft Brock Taylor.
Brock, congratulations.
Absolutely.
You deserve it. Can't wait to see you keep kicking for the next couple years. So, rocket launcher, we love you. That picture of him jumping into your arms after they beat Alabama. Maybe
Top 5 moment of my life.
So that's going to be, send me that picture if you have it.
All right.
That will be the picture I tweet along with this episode.
Might be my wallpaper.
And that will be included in the episode image on YouTube and Spotify as well.
I just
send me that
saw
after
him and I was just like, I don't know what happened. It overtook me.
God, it was beautiful.
It happened with a couple of special teamers on the field. It
Oh,
happened
me
with
and Julian Ashby.
Julian Ashby,
Oh,
dude.
hey.
Me and Julian
No,
got
I talked
wild.
about it after the Alabama game. I woke up the next day and was like, why is my shoulder and chest so
Because he
sore?
popped the hell out of you.
Because I full 3 times while Julian Ashby was in full pads, full body slammed into him saying, are you fucking kidding me?
He's a big boy.
Yes, sir. You know who we are. No, actually, me and Julian are relatively similar size.
I
But-
guess it's just pads. He
but
looks
the pads,
like a big
no,
boy.
he's bigger than me.
Yeah.
But I could be a long snapper in college football if I just if he just bit me.
Damn.
But welcome back after some technical difficulties.
Mhm,
We'll call it some StreamYard difficulties. 2nd week in a row. Can they figure it out?
Fix your game, StreamYard.
Whatever transition I used, I don't even remember what I said. We're about to talk about the transfer portal.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to give the most complete update that you will hear anywhere covering Vanderbilt athletics about where Vanderbilt currently sits in the transfer portal. Some guys have entered. Vanderbilt has some visits scheduled.
Mhm.
They have some offers out there. I'm sure I'm going to be missing some visits and offers, but I think I'm going to have a pretty complete list of the guys that have entered / plan to enter the transfer portal because, like you said in the part that's unrecorded, the transfer portal officially opened today as we're recording this. So players are officially submitting their paperwork. That doesn't mean that all of these guys aren't going to play in the bowl game, but it does mean they're officially in the transfer
Yeah, I
portal.
mean, we can go over a list of dudes that are going to play in the bowl game, too.
We can do that after I run through these
Perfect,
names.
because I already
So
know.
I'm going to do my best to not miss any players. Starting from the beginning, as I lose my place already. So this is a very tough spot. So I'm just going to go with one I know off the top of my head. Nate Johnson.
Yeah.
Nate Johnson has entered the transfer portal, rumored to be the highest paid player by the Vanderbilt NIL collective coming into this season. Obviously, if you watched any Vanderbilt games, was not a key contributor.
No.
Was a package guy at most, came in 1 to 3 plays a game at most.
Mhm.
I don't even think he was truly the backup quarterback. I think
No.
if Pavia had to miss a whole game, that Drew Dickey and Nate Johnson would have swapped back and forth during possessions.
Yeah.
He also mentioned and was also mentioned in the release of him entering the transfer portal that he was available to play quarterback or wide receiver.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it, and I don't think Barton will be mad at this point now that the season is over. When me and Trevor attended a practice during spring practice,
Yeah.
I mean this, Nate Johnson is an incredible athlete.
Mhm.
Maybe the fastest guy straight line on the entire team. Truly
Yeah.
an incredible athlete.
Maybe one of the fastest guys I've ever seen.
I didn't have high expectations going into that spring practice.
Yeah.
That was the worst performance I could even possibly imagine or describe from a quarterback that we witnessed in person during the spring. It is what made me so sure during the summer. I'm glad I can expose this now. It's what made us so sure Diego Pavia was going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm exposing this now because it'll make people that regularly listen make some of our comments make more sense when
Yeah.
we're like, just wait till Diego gets here. Diego will be very important. I
Yeah.
think Diego will be a key part of this team.
Yeah.
Nate Johnson, we watched 25 snaps of live action, basically. He threw interceptions or skipped the ball into the ground on 16 to 18 of them.
On like short intermediate passes.
He threw, I think it was 6 to 10 interceptions on 25 pass plays that we witnessed. He was truly horrendous.
Yeah, like Drew Dickey looked like
way better.
And this is not a shot to Drew Dickey. Drew Dickey looked like an All-American compared to Nate Johnson. Like at that practice, I was enamored because I'm like, man, like this is such an awesome experience. But also in my mind, I'm like, and I don't want to disrespect the kid, but I'm like, if this is our quarterback, like we are screwed.
And I probably weighted that practice too much into my season prediction.
Uh-huh.
It's why I was so negative during you and Blake's, and you were able to put on your gold-colored glasses and get past it. And I even gave the caveat to you when we talked about this privately, like, I know it's early. Yeah. I know this is a new offense. My expectations are low.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he would look really bad.
Yeah.
And he looked so much worse than I ever could have imagined. And this team looked worse. But it turns out that maybe Nate Johnson was the out-of-sync problem. Because this offense was not good this year, but it certainly wasn't horrendous and not one of the worst offenses we've seen. But I believe Nate Johnson is going to go somewhere at a non-power 4 level. And he is going to be a wide receiver / package quarterback, and he's going to put up some stats.
Yeah, I think that's fair
because he's a real athlete.
He's a real athlete.
You saw it. I think it was the Alcorn State game on that 75-yard run.
One play.
When he gets a seam as a playmaker, not as a quarterback, as a playmaker, he's legit.
Yeah,
he's a power 4 level athlete. He's not. But the problem is he's grown up playing quarterback. So he hasn't developed those skills as a receiver. That's the problem. So he's probably going to transfer down, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and
that's going to be most of these guys, by the way.
And kudos to him for also like realizing that and being like sort of setting down the pride and being like, I'm willing to play wide receiver. You know what I mean? It's like because everybody wants to, even the 300-pound hog mollies up front, like they want to play quarterback. So shout out to him for being like, this probably is not in my future. So I'm going to be open to wide receiver.
All right, I'm going to run through the rest of these a little bit quicker because I actually have the timeline pulled up now. So then we can make some comments about them after. But the first player to enter the transfer portal was BJ Diakite, an edge rusher. I'm going to read off his stats here. In 2022, 12 tackles, 1 sack. 2023, 20 tackles, 1 sack. And in 2024, 3 tackles. Clearly lost his spot on the depth chart. Going to the next player, Micah Bell, an athlete that actually got talked about a lot during the preseason. I don't mean this bad, made 0 contribution.
Didn't see the field
Literally
at all.
Did not see the field. So he changed from defensive back to wide receiver. He will be entering the transfer portal as well. A former Notre Dame player transferred in prior to this season. Continuing to run through these guys, Gunnar Hansen, offensive tackle, has entered the transfer portal. The only player so far that has entered that I haven't gone, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen, I think, is a true left tackle. He's not a swapping back and forth guy.
Yeah.
And I think maybe with the scheme under Klanakis, Gunnar Hansen has views to play at the next level. He needs to be a pure left tackle. He struggled when swapped to the other side. So it's a very different reason I want to reiterate. But it feels a bit like the Will Shepherd departure. Is he talented enough to be still on this roster? Yes.
Yeah.
Does he fit with the scheme they're running? And is it kind of a mutual parting of ways? Probably.
Yeah.
So Gunnar Hansen is the only guy I'm going to continue to read off that I'm even remotely like, damn, I would have liked to have him.
Yeah. Shout out to Gunnar. Good guy, too. I really like Gunnar. I've been a Gunnar Hansen truther. I was sad to see him go, but best of luck to him on wherever he lands. I will say before we get to the rest of them, this transfer portal cycle so far feels a lot different than last year. And that last year, a lot of the guys that entered, I sort of had this mentality of like, oh, all right, screw you. Like, if you're not with us, you're against us. Like, I had that towards Will. I had that towards London Humphreys, even like Savion Riley. But like a lot of these guys, it feels different because I'm like, dude, they put like a lot of like he's a graduate, like he's a graduate transfer. I'm like, man, a lot of these guys like put in their time with Vanderbilt and like did the hard work. And I'm like, as long as you're not an SEC transfer, I do wish you the best of luck.
It's also more of an understanding of how this transfer portal is going to start going.
Yeah.
And also you're ending the season on a positive note. Yeah, so guys aren't escaping a burning ship.
Yeah.
They're not jumping off the edge into the water. these are guys that either fell down the depth chart or were told, hey, man, there's not a scholarship.
Yeah.
I think most of these guys have recognized the writing on the wall, and they're guys that have played previously in previous seasons. Vanderbilt really attacked the portal this season, bringing in a different level of talent.
Yeah.
And they just fell down the depth chart.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So I think that's what a majority of these guys are outside of Gunnar Hansen.
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm going to say not a majority. That is every one of these guys outside of Gunnar Hansen. He's the only one I even remotely say, oh, man, he's it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Continuing to move on, Devin Lee has entered the transfer portal, a guy that I think we had more expectations for heading into the 2024
Just a
season.
little undersized.
In 2021, had 6 tackles. 2022 had 14 tackles and 1.5 sacks. In 2023, he had 15 tackles and half a sack. And in 2024, 1 tackle.
Yeah.
Fell down the depth chart behind Demarion Thomas and Wataha.
Yeah, he's just a little
And Zaylen Wood.
just a little too small.
He just fell behind 3 guys. I think he will transfer somewhere. He'll have a good career at a non-P4 level. He'll be dominant at a non-P4 level. I think Devin Lee's talented. Steven Sanianiola has entered the transfer
My
portal.
boy Steve Shy.
Defensive back. I don't really believe he saw the field that much this year. He did. He played rotational.
Well, his biggest play, and this is no shade, was the safety against Georgia State.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he has entered the portal. He'll transfer to a non-Power 4 team. Another player, just to note, this is not from Vanderbilt's roster, but a player that's interesting to keep track of, John House, former Vanderbilt safety, local kid from around here. He transferred from Vanderbilt to MTSU to Derek Mason. Now he's entered the transfer portal again. So he said to throw him in there real quick. Podcast favorite, fan favorite, nothing but absolute love and respect for this guy. Taco Wright.
Shout out to Taco Wright.
Pick 6, baby.
We will always on TDR have nothing but love and respect for the Wright brothers.
The Wright family.
The Wright you will never hear a bad word about the Wright family out of our mouths.
By the way, that practice I mentioned earlier, we talked about it.
Killed a guy.
We talked
Taco whenever they were doing one-on-one.
Oh, I was like, what are we talking? I was going to talk about when we sat there and talked to his parents for about 30 minutes.
You remember that hit he put on one-on-ones? Oh, my God.
But Taco, best of luck to you wherever you go.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted nothing but respect for Taco.
Yeah.
I personally quote tweeted it. He actually sent me a DM.
He's such a good
with
guy.
2 hearts to that. And I just said, man, best of luck wherever you go.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the Vanderbilt fan base, he needs to go. And I mean this. I think he has the perfect athleticism to go to a team that's a solid non-Power 4 team, like a UAB, like a Texas State, somewhere like that, and he will be a starting corner there.
Yeah.
He's just, or a rotational corner. He's just not a Power 4 corner. So Taco Wright has entered the portal. Shout out to him. Wish him success. Keeping moving on. I have not mentioned this. Mentioned it in the lost portion. Darren Agu has entered the transfer portal. Another edge rusher. A guy that really never reached the potential that we expected him to.
Not even close.
I had very high expectations for Darren Agu entering the 2023 season. He played. He couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
He never really contributed at that level. In 2022, Agu had 14 tackles, 1 sack, played in 11 games. In 2023, 16 tackles, half a sack, played in 10 games. And in 2024, only played in 2 games.
Yeah.
He's another guy that just fell down that depth chart. It is what it is. I think he's a freak physically. He will be a guy that will contribute somewhere else as a rotational.
Just have
rusher.
questions about his motor,
and he's had injury problems.
Yeah.
He has had, I think, his shoulder issues. He's had some bad injury problems with that lanky build. So he's put on some weight this offseason. I think dropping down to a non-P4 school, he will be a key contributor if he can stay healthy. Another guy that has entered the portal, wide receiver Ezra McAllister, has entered the transfer portal. Not a contributor, is what it is.
Forgot he was on the team, to be honest.
Has there been anybody else that I've missed that has entered the portal, or is that it so far?
Callahan Blair has
yeah.
entered the portal.
Most people don't even know what that is.
And nothing but the utmost absolute respect for my personal president. Kicker and place kicker Will Ferris has entered the portal.
I did not see that. I wish I would have.
Will Ferris, I salute you. Best of luck, my friend.
We're a special teams pod.
We love Will Ferris on this pod.
We love some good special teams. So shout out to Will Ferris as well. I have not. This is not a complete list of players that Vanderbilt has offered or has visits planned. It's just some people that I have noticed. Kamarion Pimpton,
Come home.
LSU tight end, has entered the transfer portal. A former Vanderbilt commit, a 4-star in the class of 2024,
2023.
2023. That's right. Former 4-star, possibly coming back home.
Hopefully.
We will
Was
see.
a Vanderbilt commit up until it was time for him to sign his LOI.
So Kamarion Pimpton, a guy to keep an eye on. Also a safety from FAU, CJ Hurd, 80 tackles as a true freshman. Will be visiting Vanderbilt.
Ravenwood kid.
Ravenwood. USF defensive tackle Doug Blue Eli is set to visit Vanderbilt on the 16th through the 18th. In 2023, had 19 tackles and 1 forced fumble. In 2024, had 17 tackles and an interception. Those stats don't jump off the page, but he's a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
That
He's a
big
run
get.
stopper.
Exactly. So those are a couple guys that stuck out.
Another guy that had a big visit today was edge rusher from Alabama. Caught was at Vanderbilt today. That would be if Vanderbilt could land him, he would instantly be the best pass rusher on this team.
That would immediately fill a need.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt urgently has a guy that played significant snaps for Alabama this recent season
Before getting suspended.
before getting in trouble. So,
But hey, who hasn't
Whatever.
sped a little bit?
Hey,
and I haven't done what he did.
What other stuff?
I've never done that, but
Hey, who cares? If you can rush the, I'm truly. If you can
Yeah.
rush the passer, dude, I don't care.
yeah, come to Nashville, buddy.
I mean, look at Jeffrey Simmons on the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can rush the passer, screw it.
Yeah, sins will be.
He didn't do
forgiven.
anything like that.
No, he very mild.
Yeah, not like that.
Nothing
But
illegal.
that's all the transfer portal stuff that I have. We're going to have way more updates. Follow the Door Report on Twitter. I will do my absolute best alongside Trevor to keep everyone updated on the latest transfer portal activity.
Yeah, and we'll say too, I know we spoke about it earlier. I don't know if it actually got lost. I believe most of these guys are still participating in the Vanderbilt Bowl. The only two that I know for certain are not participating is Gunnar Hansen and Nate Johnson. Everybody else in the portal, to my knowledge, is still going to participate in the bowl game. It's not that big of a deal, but I do want to reiterate and sort of give this message of what a testament it is to this team and to this staff that even after you've put your name in the portal, risking possible injury to play and basically like for you a meaningless game to finish it out with your teammates and your coaching staff. Shout out to those guys, man. Like that is like Devin Lee's playing, Taco's obviously playing. Like that's awesome. Like that'll get you remembered for a long time.
Yeah, anybody that plays in this game, and it's not even hate to like, I fully understand.
If they didn't want to play, I totally get it. Yeah,
it's not something that like we're gonna shit on you
No,
on this pod.
no.
I get it. You have your own career to look out for.
You got to look out for yourself.
I get it fully. But if you do play in that bowl game, I promise you that Vanderbilt fans, or if you're even suited up, I promise you Vanderbilt fans will remember you incredibly fondly.
Yeah.
And there will be no negative words said about you.
Yeah.
And if there are,
we will handle them.
We'll handle them.
We will handle
TDR will get on them. So shout out to everybody that is, I don't want to say shout out to everybody that's entered the transfer portal, but so far I just want to reassure Vanderbilt fans this is not a disastrous start. If anything, so far, this has been very positive.
Yeah.
Also, the last thing I want to bring up on football before we enter the TDR cocktail break, Diego Pavia had his hearing regarding his waiver of eligibility.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was good news or bad news. I'm not a lawyer, but it's going to continue to drag on.
Yeah.
That's the extent, is there was no early ruling on this.
Yeah.
We could have Blake on to evaluate the technicalities, but keep an eye out. There's going to be a lot more news coming about that. But do you have a date on when that next hearing is, or when whatever's going to go on?
So, and I don't want to jack anybody's swag, but from the people who were at the hearing, they said that they believe and that Vanderbilt believes a verdict will be ruled before the portal closes. So before December 28th, I believe is they will have a ruling. So kind of like I'm glad they're doing it before the portal closes, but it's also like if you're Vanderbilt and you're Bobby, you're like, hey, I need to know right now.
Yeah,
especially if you're Clark Lee, you're like, we need to know now.
That's the hard part because until this is resolved,
what do you
you're
do?
going to have a really hard time selling any quarterback on transferring to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt needs a transfer portal quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially after Nate Johnson has officially entered his name. Until Pavia is officially ruled one way or the other, if I was a quarterback, I'm not committing to Vanderbilt because if he is ruled in favor of him, Pavia is the starter next year. So you're going to have a hard time finding anyone to commit until there's an official ruling.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better as far as that, either direction.
Yeah.
I want to see Pavia back, but we need a ruling.
We need an answer.
We need an answer either way. That's the last thing I had on football. Anything else you want to add here before we go to basketball?
I will say my dad sent me a dumb text today. I sent him photos of our tickets, and I was like, got the tickets. He's like, let's go. And he goes, hopefully we can go watch a win in Birmingham and not have our coach leave us after the game. And I go, Dad, why'd you have to say that?
Why'd you have to say
I go,
that?
Dad, why did you have to say that? He goes, come on, son. You know he's not leaving. I'm like, Dad, but still, like, why would you say that?
Don't say those
Everybody
words.
shame my father.
Shame, Tommy. All right, everyone. Grab yourself a cold one. Grab yourself a warm one. Whatever it is. We will be right back after the TDR cocktail break. Welcome back from the TDR cocktail break, and welcome back into episode 294 of the Door Report. Trevor, we have basketball to get to, but you mentioned during the TDR cocktail break, you have another football thought you want to get out there.
It's not even football, but it's spirit of gold thought. I was upstairs during our cocktail break moisturizing my face, and I thought to myself, how awesome are the vibes going to be when in Birmingham before the game starts, the Spirit of Gold comes by in the parking lot, and we get an encore of Dynamite in Birmingham one last time.
Electric.
I was just thinking about that in the bathroom.
Yeah, I've poured too large of a glass of whiskey during the TDR cocktail break. Look at this. That is insane. If I finish that by the end of the episode,
thirsty boy.
Jesus Christ. The bullet bourbon was running a little low, so I was like, I'll just finish up the fifth. See what happens. Turns out it was a full giant glass of whiskey during the TDR cocktail break. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the last thing on football. We have basketball to get to. The Vanderbilt Commodores had two basically road games, one true road game, one technical neutral site game that was played in the same state that the team they played was located.
Same city.
So number one, Vanderbilt went on the road as part of the ACC SEC Challenge and beat Virginia Tech 80-64. I made a tweet. Some other people had the same thought. Vanderbilt is officially Virginia Tech's daddy.
It's just what
the kids
we do.
are saying.
It's just what we do. Could you imagine? I'll pose you this question. Could you imagine losing to Virginia Tech in any sport?
It's hard for me to imagine. It's hard for me to even. What would that even feel like?
I don't know because we've never done it.
I know. It's just
we've never done it. If you went to this basketball game, would you have gotten another altercation?
We'd have to see.
Let the vibes fly.
The vibes would have to flow. I don't go in intending to get in altercations. The vibes just have
you
to
never
flow.
start it.
Sometimes.
I'm trying to defend you here.
Yeah, you know. Then Vanderbilt went on to beat TCU 83-74 as part of some type of coast-to-coast challenge.
The Southwest
LBM,
Basketball America
Coast-to-Coast,
Classic.
whatever the hell it was called, challenge. Vanderbilt won that one as well. So we talked about it in the last episode, and we said that this would be a truly good test for this team. So I'm not going to pull back on that at all. And I'm going to say they passed the test with flying colors.
Yeah.
And they proved that they are better than below average teams in other high major conferences. They dominated Virginia Tech and TCU. I don't know if dominated is the right word. They wouldn't have won 10 out of 10, but they were better than both of them.
It never felt like it was close. I mean, it did feel like it was
TCU
close,
did a
but
bit.
but like still like in your mind, you're like, if they could get it going, like they're gonna win.
Vanderbilt didn't even shoot exceptionally well against either of these teams. Against Virginia Tech, they shot 33% from three. Against TCU, Vanderbilt shot 27% from three as a team. So
Yikes!
they didn't shoot incredibly well, but they still won in
That's all that
handy
matters.
fashion. So TCU was a little bit closer than the Virginia Tech game was. Vanderbilt did dominate Virginia Tech. TCU was a bit more of a barn burner, if you could call it that. But Jason Edwards coming off the bench, that seems to be the new lineup for Byington, and it seems to be working out as well. So as long as it keeps working out, I'm going to say keep doing it.
It was like bringing Ezra Mannion off the bench during that Jerry Stackhouse year, to where he wouldn't start hot, but he'd bring him off the bench and he's a flamethrower.
Against Virginia Tech, Jason Edwards led the team in scoring with 19 points, 3 of 7 from 3. Against TCU, Jason Edwards also led the team in scoring with 30 points, 1 of 4 from 3, but he was 13 of 14 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
That is one thing I want to point out. So far, this team hits their free throws.
Yep.
And guess what? Guess what this team's record is?
9-1.
9-1. And guess what? They hit their free throws. It's so simple. They're not even an incredible free throw shooting team. They're just a solid free throw shooting team. As a team, they are shooting 73.1% on the season. That is 145th in the country. So they're just average.
Yeah.
They're just average. But the main stat that I want to pull so far this season, Vanderbilt in the turnover categories.
Yeah.
That's where they've won and lost ball games.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt is forcing more turnovers than they are.
They're winning the differential. Yeah.
Yeah, they're winning the differential. They're not turning the ball over as much as other teams are turning it over. That's one thing we were concerned about going into this year, is how was this team going to be defensively?
Yeah.
We've seen so far pretty solid defensively,
Yeah, not that bad.
Especially with some guys like Tyler Tanner that have exceeded expectations on the defensive side of the court. So Vanderbilt right now, as far as turnover percentage goes, is 11th in the country on offense, 13.3%. They are 32nd in the country on defense. So Vanderbilt is not turning it over, and they're forcing turnovers. But Vanderbilt currently sitting at 9-1 in the next 4 out of the first bracketology predictions.
Feels too early.
And also currently ranked 60th in Ken Palm.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt is 9-1 with 3 games remaining before conference play starts.
And if they do what they should do, and if they do what they are expected to do, this team will be 12-1 going into conference play. If I had told you this offseason, Vanderbilt's going to be 12-1 in basketball going into conference play, would you be like, yeah, I expect that?
No.
Yeah, same.
Of course not.
Same.
That doesn't mean they're going to have success in conference.
No, totally. Because like we've said this, I don't know if we've mentioned it on pod or if we've just like in living together. The SEC basketball this year is a gauntlet. Like, I know we were in a group chat talking about this. I firmly believe in my lifetime, this might be the best overall conference of SEC basketball that I can personally remember.
It is insane. So
From top to bottom, it is. I mean, they might have 12. I said this is a group chat. I wouldn't be shocked if 14 teams make it. People like 14. I'm like, I don't know. Watch out.
I mean, I think the combined winning percentage is well over 80%.
Yeah.
So far in the SEC. There are a lot of teams with 1 loss, no losses, or 2 losses.
Yeah.
The SEC is incredibly talented. So all of this is given with that caveat. Upcoming for Vanderbilt basketball, 3 games remaining in the non-con schedule: at home against Citadel, at home against Austin Peay, and at home against New Orleans. Those are 3 games Vanderbilt should win, like you said. So there's not much to preview there. These are all teams that Vanderbilt should be significantly better than. I'll read off the Ken Palm rankings. The Citadel is 329th, Austin Peay is 250th, and New Orleans is 342nd. So Vanderbilt should win these games. Mark Byington has proven throughout the first 10 games of this season he beats bad competition.
Yeah.
Is that a low bar? Maybe. But the bar that we are coming from as Vanderbilt basketball fans over the last 5 to 8 years, it's a hell of an improvement.
Exactly. Yeah, the bar the last couple of years has been lower than not beating your opponents that you should beat. To the Austin Peay game, Should I wear an Austin P hat Vanderbilt shirt?
Oh, I hate that.
Gotta support the alma mater, dude.
You kind of do. I don't know. It's up to you, pal.
I could never turn my back on the doors. It'll be doors up top, doors down low.
But I do have to point out during the Virginia Tech game, Vanderbilt did have two guys that both transferred from Virginia Tech.
Mhm.
Tyler Nickel and MJ Collins Jr. Tyler Nickel, not the best game against Virginia Tech. Didn't shoot that great. MJ Collins, however, incredible game. He turned into Michael Jordan Collins during that game.
He went on fire.
He was the second leading scorer on the team. So there's still a lot to be learned about this team. Do they lack size? Absolutely. We're going to see what they look like against better competition, especially on the interior. But right now, everything is about as good as you could possibly hope it's going to be in year one underneath Mark Byington with 11 new players on the roster.
Could I ask you a roster composition question? If you were Mark Byington, or just from what you've seen from Vanderbilt basketball so far, what is the game plan with JQ Roberts going forward?
Personally,
I don't what is his role on this team?
I guess I'll be honest because I have to be honest.
I don't know.
He's
That's
just
not
going to play.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Well, you think whenever it gets tightened, he's going to be one of those guys that
you're going to have the rotation always tightens as the year gets longer and longer. I think 8 to 9 guys will play. I think JQ Roberts is the odd man out. I think he's not as good at the 3 or 4 as Nickel. And I think he's not as good at the 4 or 5 as Jalen Carey and Devin McLaughlin. And I think he's just a tweener, and he's going to fall out of the rotation. So he played 4 minutes against Virginia Tech. I don't know what his stats were against TCU.
I don't think he had any points against TCU.
He played 1 minute against TCU.
Yeah.
I just think eventually, unless there's foul trouble, you're not going to see JQ Roberts.
Yeah.
So this is going to be basically a whole new roster as the season continues. But so far, Byington, you've got TDR support.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you. But
It's hard to there's nothing really to complain about. And I know a lot of people during the Va Tech game were complaining, and I tweeted out and I'm like, guys, we've been doing a lot of whining and moaning on this app during this game. We're about to win by double digits. So I get it. We said it last year, Vanderbilt basketball has a proud history and a proud tradition, and we want to see winning basketball. But also it's hey guys, don't forget where we were this time last year. You know what I mean?
Last season, Vanderbilt went 9-23. This season, Vanderbilt starts 9-1.
Yeah.
So that's about all you need to know. Noticing a good trend there with the new head coach. Anything else you want to add here on episode 294?
I don't believe so.
All righty then. For myself, Will Byrum, and my co-host, Trevor Hulan, this has been episode 294 of The Door Report, powered by 615 Collectibles.